Hey guys. So, this is the reading for Gemini. So Gemini, I don't know if you tuned in yet, but when I first started with Aries today, I made a deal with Aries and everyone else that I would read for you from the timing of today, March 12th, until May 12th. So about 3 months. Okay. Gemini, what's coming up for you? Gemini, I'm seeing that there's two really strong women in your life. One of them is kind of a fire sign, and the other one is kind of an earth sign. And all that means is that one of them is probably really practically minded and steadfast, and the other person is very creative and maybe high energy. And it's like you guys are all working together towards the same goal. So you could be a part of a group, working with a group of people that you really respect. And that's really cool, Gemini. I'm seeing that you are really focused on your health right now or on your routine. And you're trying to get in touch with your confidence. You might be performing a lot on a stage. Or maybe you're speaking publicly to a lot of people. But I'm seeing a lot of, positive energy here. However, you're going to want to watch your drinking habits. You're going to want to watch your habits of what you're bringing into your body. Because I'm seeing that you're getting really distracted by something in your life. And I got the star here, which sometimes symbolizes having a lot of fun and drinking. But then to have it with a 7 of Cups. Because the 7 of Cups is really, it's not a very stable card. It's fun sometimes. It's interesting. Usually has something to do with looking at your options. Being really excited about everything that you have in front of you. But you can get really sidetracked and focus on the wrong thing. It's the only problem with that. Sometimes it's not a problem at all. Sometimes people can really, they can get distracted but then come back to the thing that really is going to serve them in the future. I'm seeing that you can also get really good advice from this practically minded friend of yours. And that this fire sign energy is really, this person could be a distraction to you. So perhaps this isn't about a substance. Perhaps this is that you have a very stable relationship with a practically minded person who might be an earth sign. And then you also are very attracted to this fire sign individual who isn't very practical at all and is not very stable, not very grounded. And in fact, maybe you hang out with them and you guys have a lot of fun, but it's very ungrounded. And in the long run, if you guys are looking at partners to marry, the practically minded person is going to be more stable in the long run and probably going to bring you more peace and harmony. This fire sign person is probably going to bring a lot of confusion and potential pain. Well, it may not be pain, but it's probably just going to be, God, it's like, a home environment that kind of makes you want to cry a little bit. Scattered energy. Yeah. And perhaps in your own mind, you're comparing these two people. Perhaps you're dating several people at a time, which isn't a crime, as long as everyone knows you're not exclusive. And you're weighing your options. You're like, well, maybe this person, maybe this person. If I had to guess, I would say that the earth sign-minded person might be a better option in the long run. And the fire sign person, it's not gelling. It's not quite gelling. So let's try your past, present, future reading. What's in the past? What does Gemini need to know about the past in regards to March 12th to May 12th? Okay. And your present. Oh. Okay. And what about your future? Where are you going to be on May 12th? What's going to be happening? Okay, these all kind of want to come out. Okay, alright. That's not exactly what I had in mind for you guys, but wow, Gemini. You knew this day was going to come. It's like you entered something in the past and you knew exactly what was going to happen. Or maybe a very mysterious individual charmed you, but they were holding something back from you. Or perhaps that was you. Perhaps you were being very charming and you were holding something back from another person, and that resolves in heartbreak. I think those two people that you had in mind, I don't know if they know about each other. Are you playing people, Gemini? Are you dating a lot and not telling people who else is involved here? I think in the present situation, the truth is coming to a light. I think someone's finding out about another person here, and they didn't know about them. Could be even you. But I'm suspecting that it's not. I'm suspecting that you are in the center here, And it's like you have two people who you're very interested and attracted to, but you can't make up your mind, and you haven't said anything to anyone about how there's two people, and they don't know that there's two people. And I'm seeing in the end here, I think nobody's really going to get what they want in this situation. But you will probably be the one making the decision. So choose wisely, my friend. So here we have again. You might want to be honest with the earth sign person, because I'm seeing in the path in that other reading that we did earlier that they have a better practical and long-term value to you in a romantic sense than the fire sign person. And I think that if you're not honest with them, with the earth sign person, the practically minded person, the person who's been wanting to commit to you and have you commit to them for a while now, and they find out about the other person, or what if the fire sign person reveals themselves to the practically minded person because they're jealous? Then you have a huge mess upon your hands. So I'm seeing that if you take control of the situation and you're honest, and you decide to stay with the more practically minded person, you'll probably have come out with exactly what will be good for you in the end. But if you don't say anything, both of them are going to turn their backs on you. But I think either way, the fire sign person is not going to be happy about this if you decide not to choose them. But if you decide to choose them, and you decide to not choose the practical person, you'll probably find yourself disappointed in the end. Because they have other options as well. And I don't think that they're going to take too kindly to being second choice. There's a lot of pride there. They're not going to be very happy about the fact that they weren't the only person that you were seeing, but for some reason there's like a double standard. Like, they want to see other people, but they don't want you to see other people. But it might not be completely spoken yet. Maybe that's just like an under the surface perception that you kind of already know and have. And that's actually like, it might be turning you off, the fact that there is that weird double standard. But I think you might be more attracted to the practical person anyway. Like, you know, in a sensual level. It's like you really get turned on by them, and the way they move, and the way they talk to you in bed. Like, there's something like really sultry and subtle about that relationship that is really, you know, it's really doing it for you. But the fire sign person is extremely exciting and interesting, and you just can't get enough of them, and you kind of just want to be friends with them. But it's like you realize that they're not going to be happy with that. And if you don't want to completely lose their friendship, you're going to kind of string them along, maybe. But that's not going to end well. It's really not going to end well. So I think you need to be honest and just make the choice as soon as possible who you're going to focus on, and be honest with the other person. You don't necessarily have to break anything off, but you can both tell them both, like, hey, so I've been dating more than one person. It's going pretty well on both sides, but I'm not sure how you're feeling about that, and, if you want me to stop seeing the other person, I can potentially do that, or I'll stop seeing the other person if you decide that you don't want to. But if you decide that you still want both, be honest about that too. And maybe the other person, maybe one of them will stick around anyway, and they won't take it that personally, as long as you're honest about it. But I'm seeing that if you're not honest about anything, both of them are gonna be like, peace, I don't need this. This is so fucked up. You didn't tell me that you were doing this. That's so dishonest of you, Gemini. But Gemini, I don't think you're dishonest. I think that you know that you need to be honest, but you're kind of biding your time. Because you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And, you probably, it's like, interesting. So I'm seeing Page of Cups. One of them really has your heart you really care for him. The practical-minded person, you just love him so much, right? And then with the fire sign person, the sex is fucking bomb, right? But the emotional connection is not there, really. So you just have to decide. You can decide on your own. But I think if you're a Gemini, you're looking really, really fine right now. And that's going to bring good things to you. So all's not lost. Like, if you end up losing both of these people, you'll still be able to meet new people anyway. If this isn't about dating at all, it could be as in terms of work. What job are you going to take? If you want a job and you're looking for a job and you have two options, take the practically minded person's job. The person who seems like they're really stable. Take that job. The fire sign creative job that seems too good to be true is probably too good to be true. It's not going to work out. And you kind of know that already. I mean, it's like you have this idea and fantasy, oh, it could be so good, but it's not. It's not going to be good. And maybe the loss of that fantasy kind of hurts. Maybe there's gossip happening at work. Maybe that fire sign person is a person you work with and they're gossiping about you and you find out and it really hurts your feelings. You already knew that they were. And it's like the fire sign person that might have been gossiping about you. It's like they're not a bad person. Like, you still really care about them and you really wanted to be really good friends with them, but you're so surprised to hear that they've been doing that. Maybe some of you are getting married and you guys are trying to plan the wedding And the family members are interfering. Your mother-in-law is one way, your mother is another way. You want to stick behind your mom, but your mother-in-law is really hurt by the fact that you won't take her advice for the wedding. Maybe you want to get married in one religion, which is your personal religion, and your partner has a different religion, and their mother-in-law really wants you to marry in their church, but you decide not to, so they're really hurt by that. Or maybe you decide to marry in their church, and your own family is very hurt by that. So it seems like it's like a huge catch-22 situation that you're going to be dealing with through this time. But I'm seeing that you're just going to have to make a decision. And everybody will live with it. It might hurt some people, but they'll live with it. Because ultimately, you are the one with the power here. Or, you got a boss who's being a huge hard ass on you. It's hurting your feelings. But you're trying to follow the rules so that you keep the job. Or maybe, you're learning a lot from them being a hard ass, but it still kind of sucks a little bit. It seems like it's a trying situation. Like there's a challenge here, and you're meeting the challenge, though. You're not falling to the wayside. You have your feelings, but you're still dealing with it, everything. And I see that this is going to bring money to you eventually, and a huge change and shift in your consciousness. So, don't be afraid. If there's a situation that you know that you need to deal with, don't worry. It's gonna be okay. Just follow the rules. Choose wisely. Especially who you spend time with. If you even have a friend who's a fire sign, who seems to always be distracting you from your goals, you gotta be aware of that. And sometimes you just gotta say, look, I love you. We've had great times together, but I'm trying to focus on something right now, and you're interrupting. And they might not want to take that. They might be very offended, but ultimately, it's not going to be a completion, like, in the sense that, it's going to be a completion for you, but that doesn't mean that person isn't going to come back later and be like, you know what, I'm sorry, I realized that I was being a little bit selfish there. It's just that I really care about you, and I like spending time with you. Minds will meet later, but they might not meet now. So, don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you need to do, and you know what you need to do. You just need to be practically minded. Do the work that you need to do. Be nice to the boss, even if they're being difficult. And follow the rules. And it will be okay. So, thank you, Gemini, for watching. Happy changes.